I, at the moment, am just in what I'm calling thesis hell, which basically means that like I'm working on this thesis constantly. I can't think about anything else. I told my supervisors that I'd get a full, I was going to say a full draft. It's actually not even a full draft. The full thesis to them by the end of next week. As you can probably hear, my throat's going as well. And I'm kind of stressed about that. I've made like today, this morning, it's Wednesday. I've made like a list of what I want to do each day. And I really do need to like stick to it and get everything done. And including working on the weekends in order to get this to them by next Friday. And even then, what I'm going to give them is not going to be good. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I feel rough. I have like near constant headaches. I'm struggling to sleep because I'm just sort of thinking about this all the time. I feel like I'm not sort of firing on all cylinders. I feel like my brain is mush. I'm really rubbish at replying to texts and emails. So if you're someone that knows me personally and you've sent me a message and I haven't replied, I'm sorry, my brain. That should calm down a bit after I've finished this like absolutely manic rush to get a full draft ready for them. But I mean, we'll see. The 8th of January and I am 50 days away from submitting on the 27th, so that's kind of terrifying me at the moment. I am still walking around with this massive binder with my thesis in it. Basically what I did was I printed it all out. I think I sort of already spoke about this, but I'll say it again anyway. I printed it all out with my supervisor's comments and I read through over Christmas each chapter, made edits, went back and implemented them. And I put like little tabs on all of the sort of major things. And I mean, this is it like pared right back because I've since gone through and like actioned them. I would say there was probably 100 tabs. That's not an exaggeration. Like there were so many tabs and the big ones are like, this is a major thing. So I've got this major thing, this major thing. Those are basically like rewrites or like there's a massive contradiction in your thesis, you need to like think of a way around it. The little ones are more minor, so they're things like you need a reference in here, like this is a big claim to be making without a citation. Things like, oh, you could do with an image in here, or like this one I've just turned to, it just says this paragraph needs some work, which a lot of them actually do. This one is like on a supervisor's comments where they said, oh, there's quite a lot of literature on managing accountability on this website. You should look at this. So I've just put a little tab and said like, yeah, look into this, see if there's anything that fits. So stuff like that. So they're like more manageable things. And over the past week, I've been just sort of going through and like peeling them off, sticking them to my table so that I can like be motivated by how many I've done. And that's been quite rewarding, actually. I really recommend this system of like printing it out. I know it's not great environmentally, but there's so much that I've picked up where I've been able to sort of flip through it quite easily. And I do recommend it. Good morning, it's Thursday the 9th, I think, of January. I'm in the office. I am hoping today to finish off my draft. I say draft. I'm hoping today to finish off my edits for my thesis, ready to give to my supervisors, so that hopefully next week I can hand it to them like in its entirety and just sort of say, here you go. But for now, that means that I need to like really crack on and do all those little edits. I also have rehearsal tonight. It's our first rehearsal of the year, which is very exciting. So we're going to start doing some of our new repertoire. We're doing like a really classical program this year. So I think we're doing Nutcracker, Paquita, and Coppelia. And Coppelia is one of my favourite ballets of all time, so I'm very excited about that. We'll find out tonight a bit more about it really. Yesterday I had my Advanced 2 class, my first one. I didn't get my results, so I still don't know what's going on with that, but hopefully I hear soon. But Advanced 2 was good. One of my friends from the group that I dance with is also in that class, which was really nice. Because she was there to sort of like ease me into it a bit. The teacher's really lovely. It was quite a full-on class, like it's quite complex, but it was really good fun and it felt so good to be dancing again. And I really think that like if I put in a bit of work to actually like remember things and like make an effort to sort of do things outside of the hour-and-a-half class, then like I think I could pick it up quite straightforwardly if I like really focused. So I'm going to try and give a bit of time to that, although I don't know where that time is going to come from, but that's the idea. So I've got quite a bit done this morning. I've printed out my thesis now. It's here in front of me, massive, 340 pages now at the current count. I'm going to start reading through it and I'm going to just kind of make it as good as possible so that I can send it to my supervisors and just say like, yeah, it's over to you now. What can I do with my remaining like month to make it submittable? I'm at that point in the thesis where I'm sort of sat on the floor reading it any spare minute I get. I've had to grab food to go. I'm not really totally ready for dance, but we're starting in about half an hour, which gives me about 20 minutes to read through some stuff, make some edits, and then hopefully that'll make it a bit lighter tomorrow. I'm aiming to finish this chapter, and we'll see how it goes. Hairy fingers, great.
Animation director Bexy.
Hello, it's Friday. I'm feeling really like on the back foot because I'm behind schedule. So I've got quite a lot of work that needs to be done in the next kind of few days. I think I'm gonna have to work over the weekend for sure. I'm reading through my thesis in the hope that I can kind of eliminate any kind of little things. But my final analytic chapter needs quite a lot of work still, and then my discussions need like a significant rewrite, so I'm a bit concerned about that. But like either way, I'm sending something to my supervisors next week. It may just be that I end up sending them a draft that's got a lot of notes in it that sort of say like, you know, I know this needs work. I'd rather not do that really because it slows things down. But I really do need to like get a shift on with it if that is the case. I had dance yesterday, that was really nice. It was really lovely to be back. But it has made me like super tired this morning because we don't finish until about 10, which means that by the time I get in and I go to bed and I'm actually asleep, it's like gone midnight, which is quite a late night to then sort of like get up and start again the next day, which is why I'm working from home today. But yeah, I'm gonna try and crack on here and see how we go. And then this evening I'm going to my mum's and spending the night there, ready to teach tomorrow morning because long story short, basically my mum's house is way closer to where I teach than this is, so I can get up like an hour later and get there at the same time, which is much needed at the moment. So that's the plan. One thing that I have been getting better at, so one of the sort of like soft skills that I've developed throughout this thesis, and in particular throughout this final year of the thesis, is learning how to say no. So my supervisor emailed me this morning saying, would you like to teach on my module? Would you like to lead some sessions? And I've had to say no, and it pained me to do it, but I have so much on at the moment that I can't really be taking on another thing. And I'm really bad at saying no. Like I've always been like such a yes person. And yeah, this morning I said no. And I'm quite proud of myself for doing that. And for sort of knowing where my limits are, because that's something that historically I've not been great with. So when I did my master's, for example, I said yes to everything. I took on way too much, and I ended up burning out in a really massive way. So I really have been quite cautious of that now, in particular as I'm coming to the end, and not letting that happen. I've got other things that I need to really focus on, like the thesis, trying to find work. Also, my dance teaching already is a thing, so I'm trying to like show up as my best self in that as well, and not be like too stressed, not be too like cutting everything fine, make sure everything's planned and prepared to like a usual standard, because otherwise it's just not fair on my students, on the kids. So I basically want to show up as my best self in everything that I can. I've been so incredibly rubbish at vlogging this week. It's now Sunday, the 12th of January. I think I maybe last spoke to you on like Wednesday, but I'm doing some work. I really made a big thing like the whole way through my PhD of not working weekends and just sticking to like 9 to 5 hours and things like that. But now that I'm coming to like the final few weeks, it's starting to be a bit more of a push. And because I wanted to get my supervisors this draft, like by the end of next week, I need to get this done now, basically. So what I'm doing today is I'm going through, this is my second full read through of the thesis, and I'm making edits. I'm going through and now doing those. It's quite reassuring though, because the edits that I'm now making are a lot less significant. So I should be able to clear most of these this afternoon. I then also need to rewrite my discussion. So I've done like a bit of that. But I'm about 2/3 of the way through. I'm gonna continue that maybe today if I've got time, probably tomorrow. And I'm trying to prepare myself, because even though I feel like it's probably ready to give to them, I know that they're going to give it back with so many points of comment and improvement and things change. So I'm trying to sort of emotionally ready myself for the fact that on the other side of that, before submission, I'm going to have a lot of work to do. I also chipped a tooth yesterday. I think, I'm not totally sure how I did it, but my dentist thinks that because I grind my teeth at night anyway, with the extra stress of the PhD, like the grinding's particularly bad, and the force that has been sort of put on my teeth at the back here cracked it, which is disgusting and horrible, and just another way that the PhD has like infiltrated my life, my subconscious, my sleep. So I'm really looking forward to having this like period of high stress over. I've once again been rubbish and not really updated you. It's now Monday the 13th of January, it's 9:30. I'm working from home today. The tubes are a bit of a mess and I'm very tired, so I thought it might be a nice opportunity to work from home. I'm also definitely in the office tomorrow, so I wanted to give myself a bit of an ease into the week. I'm just going through my thesis, same as yesterday. I didn't get very far because I got a headache, which again is like a stress symptom that I've been getting quite a lot lately. So I'm in my lit review at the moment, but the edits are very small. So I mean, like I'll show you. They're like, it's only a few things, only a few things like on the page. And not every page has stuff on. So I really think I should be able to get through the thesis today if I just sort of knuckle down and do it. I also need to read through chapter 6 randomly. I skipped it because I'm going to say this, it was pretty good. It's sort of where I want it to be. I'm not too worried about it. So I've not really focused on it in the last couple of rounds. So I need to go back in now and make sure that everything sort of lines up. I then need to finish my discussions edits. So I think I mentioned yesterday, I'm about 2/3 of the way through that, and I still have some bits to do. So I'm going to do that. That's my day. So this is the one task in the thesis where I can actually like do something else at the same time. So because I've gone through and I've done all the like what my friend Sophie calls serious thinking of the thesis, and I've already written all the edits now. I'm just sort of like copying them into the document. That's quite mindless, so I can sort of watch other things while I'm doing it, which is quite nice. And what I've been watching is videos of people submitting their PhD theses, so that I can feel a bit motivated, and it is very motivational. But quite a lot of people are running into problems submitting, which is a bit scary, and I'm very conscious of that because I know that my thesis is massive. I mean, it's 340 pages, and I would say like every second page has got at least one image. So it's massive. You can't email it, even if it's a PDF. I emailed the research degrees team at uni and sort of said, you know, I'm submitting in February. I'm a bit worried about how I'm going to do that. Can I upload it via something like Dropbox or WeTransfer or something like that? And they said that's fine. So that's reassuring that that's like off my mind, but I'm still having like nightmares and visions of it being like a mess and a nightmare and not working. And then my examiner's saying like, oh, your formatting's all over the place. And then me having to be like, yeah, well, it wasn't sent funny or whatever. But I mean, like, I know logically that's not going to happen because I will like PDF it and lock it and send it. But you know, it's still in the back of my head. I actually had a nightmare the other day about my supervisor. Let me put you down. I dreamt that she was having a meeting with me. It was just one of my supervisors, my second supervisor, who was lovely, by the way. I want to preface that. She's really helpful, really lovely. But I had a nightmare that she was telling me I needed to rewrite my discussions chapter. And I was sort of saying to her, like, why? What do you need me to do? Like, give me some more guidance. What's wrong with it? And she just said, just make it different. And she just kept saying, just make it different. And in the dream, she was sort of telling me, like, make it different, make it different. And then the fire alarm went off. So it was a real, like, absolute mess of a dream. But it kind of represents, I think, very well my mental state at the moment. Also, this is a complete side note, but I really like these trousers. They're new. They're from M&S, and they're so soft and they fit really well. They're like a sort of, I don't know if you can see, they're kind of like a cigarette pants. They're like straight leg, and they're a really nice, like smart pair of trousers. They're so comfy, they're elasticated, and they fit really well, like around the waist and around the hips. So yeah, really recommend M&S for office wear.
In a Victorian nursery. That's for Laura and Willard to toy with.
Good morning, it's Tuesday, it's the 14th of January. I actually have an interview today, which is why I'm wearing makeup and why I've sort of done something to my hair, and why I'm sort of semi-dressed nicely. So I've come into the office first. It's now 9:18. So I'm gonna do some work here. I'm gonna leave here, because the place I'm interviewing is it's just up the road. So I'm gonna leave here at 10:15. To get there for 10:30, and then my interview is 10:45, so that should give me enough of a buffer. So I'm gonna just crack on. I should only have like minor things to do in my thesis now, so I'm gonna try and do as many of those as I could. The aim is to today get all of the text ready, basically, so everything that's within my thesis I would like to be ready to send to my supervisors. And then beyond that, so like tomorrow and Thursday, I would like to be working on things like formatting, making my contents, like little things like that, that kind of add up. So that's the idea. Hopefully I can then send it off to my supervisors by Friday, maybe by Thursday, if I'm lucky. That's the idea. Good morning, it's Thursday the 16th of January. I have just handed my supervisors my full draft, so I'm like a day ahead of my schedule. And they've kind of replied that they've got it. It's all okay, it's formatted okay, which is what I was worried about. So I actually have quite a free day because I do have things to do on it, but I don't want to do too many things until we have that meeting next week about it. So in the meantime, I'm going to be catching up on some other stuff. So I started off by like washing some dishes because our dishwasher's broken at the moment. I'm going to do some laundry, some stuff around the house, things like that, just catch up on all the stuff that's been kind of neglected lately. And then later I have ballet. I'm actually this is starting to get like a bit of a long vlog, so I think I'm gonna wrap this up now and just sort of say it was like a few days in my life. Oh, I'm getting texts. That's my mum. She just said she just read my acknowledgements and they made her cry. She's in them. That's really sweet. I'm going to wrap this vlog up now. It hasn't really got like a natural end point because it wasn't really a straightforward like week in my life. It's just sort of a few days. So I'm just gonna say this is the end, like arbitrarily. It's as good a time as any if I've handed in my draft. So thank you for watching if you've made it this far. My very boring life at the moment. It's very kind of like, it's the same thing over and over again at the moment. I'm just writing, so, you know, that's what it is. But thank you for watching and I hope you have a lovely day.